3, 2, 1.
Welcome, beautiful Eigen people. We are back once again.
Yes.
So, of course, before we start, make sure you guys like, share, comment, and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Thank you to all our Patreon supporters. We couldn't have done it without you guys. Black Thoughts, Aria Krish, Simon Matin. And then also, you guys check out our social media, Eigenbros.com, Eigenbros on Twitter, Eigenbros on Instagram, and Eigenbros2 on TikTok. And yeah, let's jump right in. So I guess, Juan, I wanted to talk this week about some interesting stuff. We had the whole post-election podcast, which I think
well received.
Well received.
People liked
they liked our clickbait. Our clickbait thumbnail.
I told Terence to change it up a little bit, but I thought it was a little too on the nose.
Yeah, it was a little bit risque.
Yeah.
You could say.
and yeah, I think people liked our the hologram Joe, our hologram Obama in the Oval Office. It playing out like a Steve Rogers sitting on the bench of Avengers Endgame.
Is that Captain America?
Captain America, yeah.
No, I don't think I will.
Yeah.
But anyway, that was a good. I'm glad people enjoyed it. So this week we want to talk about some statistical stuff. So I've been kind of into statistics lately.
Why?
It's always one of these things that I've kind of felt insecure about in terms of my math knowledge and skills, because I've never felt real good with like probability and data analysis. Like I feel okay with it, as a physicist, but I feel like I could go a lot further with it. I've always wanted to explore like Bayesian probability, just understanding like these weird trends and graphs and things that show up a lot. Understanding like Gaussian distribution functions better. Just one of these things that's always been kind of a hole in my foundation.
Right.
Would you say that's true for you as well, or no?
I don't know. Maybe.
Maybe you haven't thought about it.
No, I haven't really thought about it. I mean, I know that there are different kinds of statistical models of stuff and how they tell you different things, but but it's its own subject. Like it's a whole ass major. If it's a whole ass major, I'm only gonna scratch the surface with anything that I do with it.
True, but it's one of these things where it has a lot of utility in physics. Because think about if we do, like, let's say if you're in experimental physics, you're dealing with statistical data all day, right? You're trying to analyze trends, analyze what the data means, interpret that data. I mean, we're a very statistically heavy field. Yeah. So understanding the statistics is going to be an advantage if you know it well.
I mean, we do that in statistical mechanics, which is you're counting the number of particles in the system and stuff.
Yeah,
that kind of
one
thing.
By one, just
one by one, you create
one Avogadro.
Yeah,
one Avogadro one
of molecules. Yeah, no, but you do this like you do a bunch of you idealize systems where there are particles, and that you're counting specific number of particles or whatever, and particles in a box, that kind of stuff. Yeah.
So we do statistical stuff, and so the first thing I wanted to talk about was Benford's law. So there was a little bit of controversy.
Wait, why Benford?
Why is it called Benford's law?
Yeah.
So it's just Benford? By a guy named Frank Benford.
So what is this? What does it tell you?
So Benford's law is an interesting thing. You've probably heard of it. It's one of these things that they use.
You probably haven't heard of it.
No, I think you might have. It's one of these things where they use it to tell if you've committed tax fraud.
Oh.
So it's one of these things where they look at the data and they say, okay, has this person possibly committed tax fraud? It doesn't tell you if it is fraud. It tells you that it's a red flag. They call it a red flag test, where if this data is skewed from Benford's law, then it could likely be that there is an issue. So it allows you to further check into it. You can actually start breaking down further what's going on, and then you can see whether there was fraud committed or not. So Benford's law basically says that it's one of these things that can be used on a particular set of data where, strangely enough, the number 1 should occur 30.1% of the time in your data.
The number 1?
Yes. So let's say, and this is looking at the first digit of a number. So let's say you have a handful of, like, if your data is taxes, right? It's like, let's say these are like people's I don't know, what would you say,
Birthdays?
like their expenses or something on the
okay.
tax. So you look at the first digit of their expenses, and then you can look at a whole group of people's expenses, and the number 1 should occur 30.1% of the time within that data set. The number 2 should occur 17.6% as the first digit. That many. It
sounds like magic to me.
It does. It sounds like magic, and it almost sounds like, why would that be the case? You would think that every number occurs once each.
Yeah.
Or with the same kind of
even distribution.
Yeah, it's like 1/10 of the time they all, or 1/9 of the time they should all appear once. But they actually don't, and it's because of things like, imagine like in the day of there's 12 months in a year, right?
Mm-hmm.
But then there's January is 1, starts with the number 1. But then you also have October, which starts number 1. November starts number 1. December starts with number 1. So you have already a more of a percentage of digits that start with 1 just within the days of the year, or the months of the year. I'm sorry, I can't speak. You got to be able to speak to do a podcast.
Yeah.
But there's certain things like this that occur quite often.
Yeah.
But of course, Benford's law, you might think then like, oh, that means is it just a relic because we're in a base 10 system?
Yeah.
And that's actually not the case.
Gregorian calendar and shit.
Right. And that's actually not the case. It happens in any base system.
Mm.
So it can be base anything, base 2. If you're in binary, it can still work. But the key thing to Benford's law for working is your data set needs to have a wide range of data within orders of magnitudes of range.
Mm-hmm.
So you need to have a wide set of data within several orders of magnitude. So you need to like have, distances of like 2, 3, 4 orders of magnitude within your data sets.
Yeah.
So what happened basically with the whole election thing? I don't know if you heard one, but people were trying to use Benford's law to disprove some of the results, or show that Biden had some what do you call it?
Some electoral fraud.
Yeah, some electoral fraud.
Gotcha.
Within the swing states.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm sure, as you know, a lot of these layman calculations are a little bit dubious.
Yeah.
In the fact that they don't really know how to analyze the data or perform the calculations rigorously to where you're actually doing it correctly.
Or understanding the theory that goes into like making these statistical models.
Right. So Matt Parker had a really great video on this, and I guess I just wanted to show a clip.
Mm-hmm.
So he tries to show why Benford's law doesn't apply, and I could just spoil it, and basically it's because election data does not have a wide range of orders of magnitude of data. For Benford's law to apply, you always need a range of data that has orders of magnitude in separation.
Mm-hmm.
But with county precincts, the data there's like 1,000 votes, several hundred votes per county, and that's only one order of magnitude difference, right?
Yeah.
So the order of magnitude distribution spread is not enough. So Benford's law basically does not apply to election results, and it really can't apply to elections at all. So yeah, let's just show the
thing
video
about
clip.
models too. Like most people don't recognize that it's like it depends on the sampling size, and like it's context sensitive to the system, right? That you're trying to apply it to.
Yeah, like with data analysis and these kind of things, you have to understand exactly how to apply these things, and you also have to be good at knowing when it works and like how much it works. Like these kind of things are not like cut and dry. Like 3 + 3 is 6. Like these are like kind of fuzzy things that you have to be able to interpret properly with experience and understanding of how it actually works within the system. So I'm just going to play this video clip, and we can watch a little bit of Matt Parker's video.
Sure.
Number 14 trending on YouTube. It was a hit. Great video.
Trending.
Great video.
Matt Parker from South Park? Parker or something?
I believe it's his twin brother, the mathematician.
Mm-hmm.
He's actually, you've seen him on Number File plenty, I'm sure. He's very recognizable. His Twitter, I think, is Stand Up Maths.
What about Sit Down Maths, bro? I'm trying to see this.
That was boomer.
Yeah, it's the dad jokes today.
Yeah, let me cast it.
I'm trying to be caffeinated. Man, I just made 2 cups. No, I just made 2 cups of coffee, and I'm like, this ain't enough.
Seriously?
I'm gonna need some more, bro. I know. I need to.
You need some injections.
Oh,
you need some speed balls.
Goodness. I don't know if I'm gonna make it this week, dude. We're gonna have to see how this is gonna roll out.
Where's the sound?
So
I'm casting to the TV right now. Be patient with us.
We'll cut this out probably, so we can. Cut the clip.
We don't need to. I could just insert the video onto the podcast anyway.
When Trump's seemingly does. Well, I looked into the data that was being used in this analysis, and it's from Chicago. And in the US, each state does its election itself. And right down to the city level is a little bit different everywhere. And how they divide the population changes slightly. In Chicago, they have 2,069 precincts. Now these are clumped into wards and counties and so on. However, the data people were analyzing is from those individual just over 2,000 precincts. And if you go on to the Chicago Board of Election Commissioners website, you can actually download the total number of votes as well as the breakdown by candidate for every single precinct, all 2,069 of them. So I downloaded that data. That's how I double checked that these plots are correct. If you get the lead digits, you get exactly these. Double checked it myself. But then I looked at the sizes of the precincts, and they're picked to be roughly the same population each. So it shouldn't be that surprising when you realize they're all about the same size. The smallest one had a mere 39 votes cast in it. The biggest one had 1,655. The average, however, was about 500. It was 516, and the standard deviation is super tight. They're all clumped roughly around the middle. There are only 7 precincts which had fewer votes than 100, and there were only 20 precincts which had 1,000 or more votes, which means 98.7% of all precinct vote totals was a 3-digit number. This has got like the opposite of several orders of magnitude. Almost every precinct reported pretty much the same number of votes, and they were all smack bang in the middle of the range of 3-digit numbers. Of course, we're not going to get a Benford distribution out of this.
So basically his conclusion was that because there's not that order of magnitude range, and then I realized I probably should have just showed the first part of this so you guys can understand a little bit what's actually happening. That was the conclusion, because one of the criteria, the rule basically for Benford's law is it needs that wide range of distribution for the orders of magnitude, and as you saw, his conclusion was that the average was 3 digits, and that's pretty much the lowest precinct was 39 and the biggest one was 1,000 and something. So that's not a big enough distribution to have a Benford's law distribution, so you can't apply it to voting. But let me play the beginning.
So was it beginning add context, though? Huh? I mean, I get what he's saying, though.
Well, I just want you to see what Benford's law is a little bit.
Okay.
Right, so there's this thing called Benford's law, which tells you how often you should expect each of the non-zero digits to appear as the lead digit across a range of data. And I've seen a lot of discussion online saying, first of all, Benford's law is a good tool for detecting election fraud. And secondly, if you look at Biden's vote totals across the Chicago area, they do not match Benford's law. Benford's law is in the yellow, and Biden's totals are the blue bars. There's no match. Whereas Trump's data looks like it matches. Well, I can confirm, first of all, no, that's actually exactly what you would expect. That's not out of order. I'll explain more in a moment. And secondly, Benford's law is not a good test for election fraud. And I quote, Benford's law is problematic at best as a forensic tool when applied to elections. I just wanted to get all of that out at the beginning. For people who only watch the first minute or two, actually this is great, although the details are very interesting, and Trump's data also throws out some interesting results, as does Biden's. So let's take a closer look.
Woo! Hell yeah, I love it when they put music like this.
It's like a throwback to 2009 YouTube.
Yeah, exactly.
First question, what is Benford's law? It's basically a statement that if you get a big range of data from the real world and you look at the lead digit of each of the values and you count up how many are ones, how many are twos, and so on, you actually get way more ones than anything else. Here's a diagram I made, and you should expect roughly 30% of all data values start in a 1, 17% start with a 2, and all the way down. Actually, if you link them up with a yellow line, that's the overlay that I had on the plots earlier. And of course, I want to double check this actually works because it's a bit weird. So I double checked a famous example. I went and downloaded the year 2000 stats for the populations of all 3,141 counties in the US. I plotted their lead digits, and it's an almost perfect match. So Benford's law does work, which brings us to the second question. Why does Benford's law work? Why on earth would you expect so many ones? Well, let's think about some everyday possible types of data collection, like measuring things. If you were to run around the house and measure things between 0 and 2 meters long, of all the whole numbers between 1 and 200, a full 55.5% of them start with a 1. And if you were picking dates at random, just you look at random days of the year, if you look at the day in the month, 36.1% of all dates, the day of the month starts with a 1. And you can get really into the detail of exactly how this works and how you get the plots. Other people have done a better job than me. You can check out Steve Mould's video on number file from many years ago, where they explain it very nicely. And Rob Easterway's book, How Many Socks Make a Pair, covers this in detail as well. So I'll link to both of those in the description below. But the important thing is...
All right, I'm not going to watch all of Matt Parker's video. If you guys want to check that out, of course, that's a very good video.
Yeah, it's called Why Do Biden's Votes Not Follow Benford's Law?
Yeah, and he actually came out with a new one. Well, it won't be new by the time this podcast comes out, but it just came out. He came out with another one following up for specifically the swing states, I believe, because this one he did a calculation on Chicago.
Yeah.
Because that was the one that was being contested, I think, by the Trump mathematicians. So that was the one he addressed in this video specifically. But yeah, it's actually interesting how Benford's law came to be discovered. It was actually originally discovered by an astronomer named Simon Newcomb in 1881 as a follow-up of the observation that the pages of the tables of the logarithms in his university library were worn out following Benford's law. So like the pages that were, I guess, were page 1 was more worn than like page 2 and so on or so forth. So he actually discovered Benford's law in this weird practical way where he saw that the pages of the logarithm tables were actually worn in a particular pattern, and it actually followed the Benford's law distribution.
Interesting.
Yeah, but then it gets attributed to Benford, I guess, because he was the one who actually used it in finance, and that's when it kind of took off.
Yeah. That's interesting. A lot of these statistical things, like just coming up, distributions and models and stuff. Just how, I mean, you can't, and I mean, you come up with different models because a lot of them aren't universal, you know?
Aren't universal?
Yeah. Like their context, they're sensitive to like sampling size and all this other stuff.
Right, which is what Benford's law is sensitive to. So it's like for people to be applying that to election results is completely dubious. Like, because the thing is, that's a criteria. One of the criteria of elections is the precinct counts are roughly the same order of magnitude, so it can't be applied.
Yeah.
So if you're applying Benford's law to try to account for election fraud, that's just your whole premise is fucked up. It means you don't understand how to apply Benford's law. Like you need a large data set with many orders of magnitude of difference. That's why it works for things like population sizes in cities.
Yeah.
Because you can have a city that has like 10 people and then a city that has like 1 million people. I don't know if 1 million, but.
So why would it hold for? Why would it hold for systems that like? I guess like why do you see number 1? I'm trying to think. Like I guess is this really a law, a universal law?
It is. It works pretty much every time if you're
in any number system.
Yeah, in any base. In any base. Yeah.
I guess that makes sense.
Does it?
Because because like that means that however you ascribe the number, your number 1, in any base, that's going to appear more, because it's the foundation, right?
I guess I don't know. I'm not sure how intuitive it is to explain.
Yeah.
But it applies if you meet those criteria of Benford's law, then it always works.
Yeah, because if I call in my number system, if I call 1 like. I don't know, like spat.
Spat.
Yeah, someone's coming up with some spat. Spat's going to come up a lot more than the other ones because it's the base.
I don't know if that's a good example. Maybe if you just
the
said
word
like
spat's going to come up more. because I'm talking about the number, you know.
Yeah, but how does that give you any intuition?
Because it builds up on it's the base of my number system, bro.
No, the base of your number system is how many digits.
No, I know that, but I'm saying like it's going to be like if it's for us it's like 10, 12, 13, 14, like we're using 1 in that.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It's a leading term.
Okay, I see what you mean.
Mm-hmm. And we
still not super intuitive.
Still not super intuitive, no.
Yeah, but it somehow, for some reason, works.
But I can see why it appears more.
Okay.
That's it.
Okay. But yeah, you can try it. I mean, you can try it with many things. The Benford's law equation actually pretty simple too. It's like a logarithm equation. It's basically, let me look it up. It is the log sub your base. So if you have base 10 is log 10 of 1 plus 1 over d, where d is whatever the digit that you're looking at or you're trying to analyze.
Oh, interesting.
So very simple equation. I know you can take a look at it here, Juan.
Oh, wow. That is pretty basic.
Yeah, pretty simple. Huh. I tried looking up a derivation, though. I couldn't really... It was either too long for me to try to go into, so I didn't
I don't know if you can derive that. That's a modeling thing.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking as well, but I was like, maybe there is a derivation somehow. I couldn't see one, though.
I mean, maybe if you start with... No, because there's... Usually, like, derivations are like first principle stuff.
Yeah.
I don't know if you can be...
I was hoping that there might be.
Let's assume you have a sampling size of 100,000 people with orders of magnitude difference. You have to make so many assumptions that are like... Kind of like, I don't know.
Maybe it would happen, though. I don't know.
It could.
I just didn't find one, so.
I think with modeling stuff, though, it's trickier.
Yeah, maybe so.
But yeah, but this is like, statistics is kind of a weird subject because, like, I think I've mentioned this multiple times, but there was an article I read at some point about, like, some physicists questioning, like, the probabilities of quantum mechanics. Like if they're what kind of probabilities do we have?
What kind?
In quantum mechanics.
What does that mean?
Like what kind of statistics? Like do certain numbers appear? Like do certain energies? I don't know.
Show
like
more often or something.
Or something. Like they were just like, what kind of statistical modeling do we have? Like do we have Bayesian probabilities? Do we have like you know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah.
Because you looked into Bayesian. Did you look into Bayesian stuff?
Not this time.
No.
But I have in the past. Bayesian's like kind of this more powerful version of like probabilities because you can actually factor in like
their weights to
there's like weights to the probabilities now to where it can be modeled more towards like real life situations rather than these super oversimplified things like if you're trying to do like we say a dice roll every single number is 1/6 probability to be rolled but let's say if your dice is weighted with Bayesian probability, then you can add in like the weight of each side and actually get the weighted percentages of a die based on adding that variable to the equation. So it's like a next step up from regular probability.
Yeah, because people are saying that quantum is not like just a clear cut probability kind of like that, like even sided kind of stuff.
Maybe not,
some stuff
but I know the basic equations we learn in school are like. For instance, like measuring the
things in superposition.
Yeah,
they're
like those are like normal probability.
Well, no, they're supposed to be weighted. At the end, like you realize when you normalize them, they're weighted. Like you have a higher probability of getting something.
Oh yeah, but those probabilities are all like they follow that exact equation. You don't need Bayesian probability for that.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're just straight up regular probability, and you just. Once you know whatever the state is, you know what the weights are going to be. With high certainty.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you only do that because, but I'm saying like, what differentiates that from Bayesian?
Because Bayesian has like extra factors in it that start to account for like weird, like extra parts of a system that are more, I don't know, it's like adding constraints to your system or something, or adding more precision to your probability. I'm sure I'm just saying this so wrong, because I don't know anything about Bayesian probability or anything, but to me it just seems like it's a stronger form of probability when you have like extra factors that are not obvious. Like normal probability is like a very idealized situation, a dice roll, people have perfect dice, and there's 6 sides, then you should always be rolling it 1/6 at a time.
Mm-hmm.
But if you have a real life dice and there's like different weight distributions on the dice, then now you need Bayesian probability to get the right probability. You're not going to always roll 1/6 of the number.
Interesting.
So yeah, but I don't know how that applies in probability in quantum mechanics, but I'm sure it could.
Yeah, because there's some people still debating the nature of them. Funny enough, like what kind of probabilities you're dealing with. I think I mentioned this. I wish there was more to read up on, because I remember reading it in a book in my undergrad. Yeah. And I just never followed up on it.
What's that?
Just the nature of the probabilities, like people having philosophical questions about it.
I see.
Yeah. So, but that's up to the mathematicians, I guess. And, physicists operate on that wavelength of like, it works. If it works, it works.
Yeah. If it works, it works.
Just so they don't really care what the deeper meaning is.
Yeah.
So, well, at least the operational physicists, I guess. Yeah. Or the scientists.
That's the general atmosphere of physics. Shut up
nowadays?
And calculate.
Yeah. But that's where we're at.
Yeah.
Culturally.
So yeah.
Well, shit. Well, then there you go. Then you just shut down all the Trump people saying election fraud is.
Yeah. So sorry, guys. Try again, please. Benford's law is not a way to detect election fraud. It's not even a way to detect a red flag of election fraud, because it's just it doesn't apply to election fraud. You can't use that. You cannot use that statistical technique for that. So just give that up.
So they're trying to do statistics to own the libs?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Applying everything wrong.
Don't you look like fools. Don't do that. The same people, I love how conveniently they go to mathematics and all this stuff that's like really rigorous, and they don't know how to like just apply the logic universally and stuff. Yeah. Just not going to work.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, nice try, folks.
Try again.
You will lose because you're dealing with the most educated generation.
Call back to the Patreon podcast.
Yeah, call back to the Patreon. You're dealing with the most, the most educated generation.
We was kangs.
That's ever to live. That's ever to have lived at this point. But yeah, you said you had something else that you mentioned.
Yeah, so it's another statistical thing.
Yeah.
So the other thing I have is fat tail distributions.
Fat tails.
Yeah, so this is an interesting
one. I love me some fat tails.
Some fat ass tails.
On chickens. Where were you thinking?
Do chickens have tails?
I don't know. Yeah, chickens have tails.
Thinking of some.
This out. I was thinking about chickens. Chickens have tails, bro. That's where all the that's where all the meat is, bro. Fat tails.
Yeah, we were definitely on a different page.
I'm hungry. If you can't tell.
For other things.
No, but the fat tail distributions, or what are we talking about?
So fat tail distributions are an interesting thing. The guy who really woke me up to it, his name is Nassim Taleb.
Okay.
I
know this guy.
Yeah, he's the bully of nerds, basically.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
You've told me about this guy. Did you get bullied by him? Have you been bullied by him yet?
No, I haven't. He doesn't even pay attention to me. I'm not. I don't have enough notoriety for him to care. Yeah. Well, he blocks people very regularly. But I'm cautious not to say anything stupid on his page, because I know he's just going to block me immediately. He just he has very little tolerance for anything.
So you're not a reply guy.
I am on his, but it's very unchallenging,
harmless stuff.
And also Nassim Taleb, his stuff is really hard for me to apply any kind of useful commentary to, because it's so out of my wheelhouse. He's a very statistics heavy, like economics based guy, and he's at the leading edge of his field. So a lot of his stuff is way above my level. So I just kind of listen to most of his posts.
Yeah.
I can't really comment much on it.
Gotcha.
It's very too high level. But he's a really interesting guy. I love his terminology, IYIs.
Why?
He calls people IYIs, intellectual yet idiot.
Okay.
If you are a guy someone who's has notoriety within the intellectual space, but you say dumb shit or apply statistics in a very dumb way.
Like Elon Musk?
Yeah, I guess he could. I don't know if he said anything against Elon though.
Yeah.
I haven't seen anything.
Because Elon got burned recently.
Yeah, because of his corona thing.
COVID stuff.
Yeah, what was? Did you follow up on it?
Yeah, because in April he said all COVID cases should drop to 0 in April.
Oh yeah.
And then he got
what
like,
is Elon gonna know? He's a fucking rocket guy.
But no, the fact that he's like saying stuff, and then now he's cautioning that he caught COVID, and then like just being like, I don't know what kind of also like those PCR tests, they also run on like how effective they are, right?
So this is what happened. Elon tested positive twice on the COVID test. And he also tested negative twice on the COVID test within like a 15-minute span or something.
I don't know, but he did those new PCR tests that are like super fast or something, right?
And they have like
I think the error bars are kind of like 30% or something.
Okay.
I think they're supposed to be better if you have more time.
Okay.
Like after catching it.
I see.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because like there's not enough like antibodies in your body to really discern like that you have an infection.
Okay.
For some of them. I just don't think he knows that all that
I mean,
stuff.
why should he either, right?
Yeah.
It's not his job to.
It's not his job to.
I don't listen to Elon for COVID advice. I mean, I would never listen to him for COVID advice.
Yeah, yeah. He's not going to be on this planet if COVID rages on.
But I think...
IYIs.
Yeah, Taleb calls out people who should know better, though.
Okay.
So, like, one of his most hated opponents is Steven Pinker. He basically shits on him at every
Okay, Steven Pinker. Steven Pinker, he's one of the Ivy League guys, right?
Yeah.
Is he part of that intellectual dark web guy?
No.
I've heard his name dropped on that.
Yeah,
list.
he's a public intellectual. Nassim calls him he's like one of the main IYIs.
Yeah.
He calls him basically.
He does say some dumb shit.
Yeah, and
sometimes.
he apparently makes a lot of statistical mistakes and applies models when they shouldn't be applied.
Oh.
And I
have one of his books.
Okay.
That I've cracked open.
He also really doesn't like Sam Harris. He won't go on any podcast that Sam Harris appears on.
Why?
Because Sam Harris also says a lot of dumb things. I've never really been a huge Sam Harris fan myself, so I kind of think that Nassim is onto something. I don't really. A lot of his stuff is.
Oh, Nassim won't go on Sam Harris. I thought you were talking about Pinker going on.
No, Nassim won't go on any podcast that Sam Harris has been on because he thinks he's an IYI.
Oh, okay.
And I don't know.
So he sees it as people being intellectually disingenuous.
Well, he thinks that some people are intellectuals, but he actually has a book called Skin in the Game, where basically there's a certain class of intellectuals that are an intellectual person, like at the highest level, and then there's the ones that are kind of like the ones who get their degrees and their creds, and then they just kind of coast, which would be like the Steven Pinkers, maybe the Sam Harrises. And Nassim is a guy who has skin in the game, is what he says.
Yeah.
Where he is an intellectual, despite like, if the model even seems like it applies now, as if it's like a fad, like like people do p hacking.
Hacking.
Yeah, you never heard of that?
Please don't tell me it involves drinking your own urine. Just one cool trick to save on your water bill. Like
p hacking.
P hacking. No, I don't think I want to know what this p hacking is, Terence.
No, it's nothing like that. So p hacking is a statistical thing where people use the p value in order to prove a result is statistically significant.
Oh yeah.
So then they'll make numbers and like tweak data in such a way to make it so it's statistically significant.
So p is less than 0.01.
Like 0.5 or some shit, I forget, or like something like that. I don't remember what it is.
Tight bounds of like it's like the R value and your regression lines if you're
exactly like if you're looking at a linear plot, if you get a closer to 1 value, then you've got a good R value.
Yeah.
P hacking is one of these other statistical things. We don't use it much in our areas, so I know.
I imagine it's like polynomial fitting, maybe.
I'm not sure. It's just some number that is like a magic number that people like in science.
Right.
So that would be an example of like an IYI who hacks data to make their p-values nice, but then they don't do the rigor to actually really look at all the variables and things to make sure that they're not just fudging the data in some way that's like allowably fudgeable. So Nassim is very against IYIs, which is why I like following him, because he calls out everybody who's like high level.
That's good.
We
need that.
Yeah, he's basically the nerd bully. So I love him already.
Good.
But anyway, he is obsessed with fat tails. He wrote a book that was really popular back in the days called the Black Swan effect. And the Black Swan effect is basically an effect he was talking about where it's got to do with Gaussian distributions versus fat-tailed distributions or long-tailed distributions, as they also call them. And a Gaussian distribution is basically...
And fat-tailed distributions, if I remember correctly, they got this, like, maybe you'll put an image up here, but like they're not a skew, like a bell curve is like this, or the Gaussian one is like the sort of bell curve. It's a wide. Well,
it could be wide or skinny, either way.
Wide or skinny, I guess, but still you get basically you have a mean where all the numbers appear more near a mean or an average or something. But then the fat-tailed distributions, they have more of like they're more offset, right? Or something like that? No?
They can be, but the real key difference between fat-tailed distributions and Gaussian distributions is the way in which they fall off.
Oh, okay.
So the Gaussian distributions, they approach zero much faster than a fat-tailed distribution does, right? Because when we look at Gaussians, we can think of like we usually think of like standard deviation immediately, right?
Yeah.
But like, okay, how many deviations from the mean is this from in this normal distribution?
Yeah.
Like, so say for instance, we have a data set on like heights of people in a population or heights of men in a population. Like almost nobody's going to have a height of 8 feet, and then very little people are also going to have a height of like 3 feet. And then most people are going to be in that center range. With fat-tailed distributions, however, you get a power law fall off rather than an exponential.
It's not an exponential.
One.
Okay.
Right. So it looks like a Gaussian distribution, but it falls off much less gradually than a Gaussian distribution. So that actually means that your unlikely events happen much more often, and your on both ends. So your high value unlikely events happen more often, and your low value events also happen more often than likely. So people a lot of times will apply models that are actually fat-tailed distributions as normal distributions. And then these are like how things like the subprime crisis happened. Nassim Taleb was the guy who predicted the subprime crisis months before it happened. And then his book sold out when people saw that he was able to analyze this data in this way, because he saw that it was a fat-tailed distribution where people are thinking that, because all this good stuff is happening, they're thinking that that's because it's a solid system where it's lying within the mean or something. But it makes all your good stuff is more likely to happen, but then also your bad stuff is much more likely to happen. And then there's this big giant crash in the other direction with the subprime loan crisis. So Nassim basically warns people of becoming turkeys. So
what the hell does he mean by that?
He says that basically you need to look or analyze your data properly in such a way and look for these fat tails, because you have these turkey scenarios where you can either be the turkey or you can be the butcher, where the butcher isn't surprised by these black swan effects or these anomalies that happen because they know the right pieces of data to analyze. But if you're a turkey, you're surprised of what happens. Because if you think of it like this, a turkey, what happens to a turkey before it gets slaughtered? He's taken care of. He's fed really well. He's living good. The turkey's getting baths. And, he's having a great life. And then all of a sudden he gets his head chopped off. But the thing is, if you're the butcher, you already can see it from the perspective of, why is the turkey being taken care of so well? It's not because the turkey's like this great animal pet that's just living the high life. The butcher knows the variables that the butcher knows the reason behind why it actually happens. So people have this blind spot of just seeing that, just because the good things are happening, this is what's going to continue to happen. But no, you have to understand the full scenario to be able to understand why these things are happening and interpret them properly. So he basically warns people of these fat tails, because that's how you become the turkey. So you have to do these fat tail, I forget what he calls it, like it's a lot of this stuff is to do with economics, so I don't really remember all the terminology and stuff.
It makes sense though.
But yeah, this fat tail distribution is a big thing basically for being able to spot like these anomalous effects that happen a lot of times in economic systems and in other things as well, where people normally just oversimplify them as Gaussians, which they shouldn't be. Long story short.
Yeah, I think it makes sense because like in economic modeling, like when you get to higher and higher like levels, it's harder to discern. I guess this is why people feel disconnected from the data in some sense, because like maybe if you use the wrong modeling, right? Like it's like, oh, it's very unlikely that this will happen to you, and it's like, oh, but it happened.
Yeah.
And it's like,
because like these things they depend on good modeling, right?
Yeah.
And you know how it goes. A lot of times people like to oversimplify things because they don't see all the factors or data that it requires. That's when you get screwed. You know, you've got to be able to have good models with the right variables in there, or else you're going to get blindsided by these things. That's when you become the turkey. Yeah. Essentially.
A lot of it has to do with like it kind of bears resemblance to a lot of the COVID stuff, right? Like people were saying like don't take it lightly because you can be on these extremes that are going to feel like you're going to feel the effects, even though like the negative effects. Yeah. Like I think one there's a famous like artist that kind of just got it recently. He's like a rapper. He went to the ICU or something. Not a rapper. He's a singer, but yeah, he like recently caught it, and people were like shocked. And I'm just like, yeah, they've been saying this, that you can go to the ICU if you catch COVID. So take it seriously, you know?
Yeah. It's no joke, man.
Yeah, I mean, but this is
I
like
saw
those
a case where the other day it actually killed a girl who was like 8 years old or something.
Oh wow!
And people were saying like, oh, kids can't get hurt by COVID. But sure enough, an 8-year-old or something died from COVID too. So it's like, this is not a normal like. This is like something to take seriously.
It's fringe effects. I mean, people see it as fringe effects, but like you're saying, like if it's more likely than you think.
Yeah. Or it's like possible at least. Yeah. So you should be careful.
Yeah. So.
Like you know, undergraduates out here just acting like there's no COVID anymore. I'm like.
Yeah. And we have the luxury of being in a small town, but this is kind of what's stopping me from going back home for the holidays, because I'm from a big city, so it's just, and it's in the South too, so.
Right. You know, they don't give a damn.
They ain't giving one darn toot about anything. Yeah. So yeah, I'm just like, I probably should refrain from it, to be honest.
Yeah.
But we'll see. Hopefully this whole like this vaccine is like coming. So
let's hope.
Yeah. Actually I'm now intrigued to see read Nassim's book. That seems like very interesting.
Yeah, he seems like a very interesting guy, man. His stuff seems really readable too. He actually has a new book what I was just talking about called Skin in the Game, which I really want to read as well. He's just a guy who really is dedicated to actually real data analysis and not just he's just not trying to do this phony bullshit of like, oh, I know how to do this statistical trick, so I'm just going to apply it ad infinitum or something. You know, he actually looks at data and tries to be on the leading edge of what actually this stuff means and how to actually interpret data properly. So he's constantly calling people out when they have bullshit data.
Yeah, makes sense.
He's a very good follow on Twitter. I would highly recommend him. Very good wise quotes too as well. So
oh, really?
Yeah, if you want some wise quotes every now and then, he's also got good quotes there. There's also like a Nassim, I think, there's like a Nassim quote.
Where is he from? Does he teach?
I'm not sure, but he's always retweeting shit about the Mediterranean.
Oh, okay.
He's always saying this is the real Mediterranean or come back to the real Mediterranean. He's always tweeting shit with the Mediterranean. So I imagine he's like Greek or something.
Yeah, maybe he is Greek. What's his name?
Nassim Nicholas Taleb.
Nassim Taleb. So maybe he is Mediterranean. Yeah.
Yeah, he's always tweeting Mediterranean shit. So I'm like, I assume he's Mediterranean. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, he seems like a cool guy. Do you think he would come on the show?
Fuck no.
No?
I don't even think he would acknowledge us.
You said an emphatic fuck no.
Yeah, because he's too beyond.
Yeah.
He's like a guy like there's like
he's too serious.
There's like grown up intellectuals and then there's like kid intellectuals. Like we're in the category of like kid.
No, we're not even kid. We're toddlers.
Yeah. We're like fucking
wearing
goofy
diapers.
ass intellectuals.
We're pooping our pants.
Yeah.
Intellectually.
Yeah. There's like him. Yeah. Like Eric Weinstein, like these guys are like real ass intellectuals.
I'll get there one day.
Yeah, we will get there one day.
Yeah,
but
I'll be more serious. You know, right now we're still young.
Yeah, and we can be. We can be stupid. It's great. I love to be young and dumb.
Take advantage of it while you can.
Exactly.
Yeah. Otherwise, like you know.
But the thing I also say no because Nassim's a very disagreeable guy. Like he already is so aggressive.
He'll fight you
with
on stuff.
Normal academics. I don't think he would even want to be bothered to even entertain us because we're just so goofy. We don't take anything that seriously.
Yeah.
Whereas like with Eric at Weinstein, Eric's much more of like a people person.
Mm-hmm.
So he only takes us seriously because he just thinks we're kind of funny or like, we're just goofy to him in some sense where he's like, they're just having fun.
They're just having fun, yeah.
Yeah, and Eric gets that, but Nassim's more of like a serious like guy, so he's not going to want to.
So you're saying Nassim would stuff us in the locker if he saw us in real life?
Yeah, he tried to. I beat his ass, though.
I'd be holding on to the edges. Just no.
He's still an old bastard. I got his ass.
Yeah.
Like, I don't care how much you fucking deadlift. He's always talking about his deadlift.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he's a
why
deadlifter.
did I literally picture a buff guy? When you said Nassim, I was like, I picture like this like military kind of looking guy with tattoos and like super
I'll show
buff,
you him.
And just being like, actually, just being super rigorous about stuff. I see that.
He's more like he's more of like this guy who's he's well, not buff, but he's definitely larger than an average nerd.
Mm-hmm.
But he's still an old dude. I'd still beat his ass, I bet.
Oh my goodness!
Come at me, Nassim. I got your ass.
The gauntlet has been dropped.
He probably can deadlift more than me though.
Maybe. How old is he?
He's probably like 50s or something, late 50s, maybe early 60s.
I want to see his 1 rep max, dude.
He can probably out deadlift us. I'm pretty sure.
Maybe. But can he do 4 sets of 20?
No way. He probably can't run that far either.
All right, let me see. We're about to see.
Oh, whoops. My bad. I've got the wrong video.
We're about to see Nassim. Terence is about to put up a video of Nassim deadlifting or something.
Nah.
What am I getting?
Oh, maybe I should do that. Nassim deadlift.
Why are we seeing Nassim shirtless pics right now? No, but yeah.
Oh, he had a Jordan Peterson debate, I think.
It'd be so easy to debate Jordan Peterson, though.
No, it's not.
It would be for me. For me, it would.
Hater.
It would be so easy, bro.
No,
you don't think so?
You would get absolutely destroyed.
No,
Jordan Peterson would wreck it.
No,
bro.
he would not, bro.
Because
he would just be like,
You're such a Jordan Peterson hater.
Because he has such flowery language for things that don't need that much
Dude, he would destroy you if it was in anything not. No, you get rocked.
No, dude, no. I would never
battle Jordan Peterson.
I would win.
No, you wouldn't.
I would win.
Delusion.
No.
I'm here with Nassim Taleb. We know him as the author of The Black Swan. I like to think of you, Nassim, as a trader turned philosopher.
Thanks. This is the problem is when you're a trader, you stay a trader, regardless of what
Once a trader, always a trader. You're a risk management guru. You're a contrarian. You're a number of things.
Contrarian doesn't mean take the opposite position.
I know.
Yeah, all right. Means independent, you mean.
So let's tap into some of that right now.
Okay.
You, like me, and everyone here, everyone anywhere, has been watching what's going on in the White House. And some people think of it as a train wreck. When you look at what's going on in the White House, when you look at what Donald Trump is doing and what he's saying, what do you see?
Well, first of all, you watch too much.
Okay. It's not really...
relevant
video. So I was just showing you who he was,
who he looks like.
Yeah, and I can't find any videos of him deadlifting, unfortunately.
No, it's okay. You know what? I could take him on.
Yeah, he's old.
I can.
He's old.
Yeah, he could probably kill me though.
You think?
He's got those eyes. He's
probably could if
he's got a killer's eyes.
Yeah, he's got a killer instinct for sure. But if it's a one-on-one fight, I think I got good odds. I think we both got good odds. He's too old.
Yeah.
You just can't fight when you're that old anymore. You're gonna break a hip.
But I feel like he could kill me with his eyes closed. You know what I mean? Like if I try to fight him, he'll have his eyes closed the whole time, and he'll anticipate my moves.
Oh, so he's like a Count Dooku.
Yeah, like he would be like an Earthbender if he was like an Avatar character. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Yeah,
he far exceeds us intellectually.
Yeah.
But that's fine.
Yeah, but with his depth of knowledge, we at least have wit. You know what I'm saying?
He's got wit too, I'm sure. But he is a little bit serious.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah. Like there's cleverness.
But he's an interesting guy, man. He's a very interesting guy. He's into like cooking and shit and a bunch of all this cool stuff.
Then Nassim, you could be my dad, bro, if you want to.
Yeah.
You could be the internet version of my dad. Or our dad. Yeah. The Eigenbros dad.
He's one of the I'd say he's like one of the Eigenbros stands. Because we've got Eric Weinstein as one of our guys. Ed Witten.
The fathers.
The fathers. Nassim Taleb. Like, these guys are all our Eigenbros.
The Eigenfathers?
Yeah, the Eigenfathers. Let's call them that. Who we aspire to be. I would say Jordan Peterson, but you're a hater, I'm not going to say
because I can't agree with him.
God, you're... Dude, you would get destroyed in a debate.
No,
with
I would not.
How do you think you would win
because
that
he
debate?
handled. I've seen him handle debates, and he gets wrecked, bro.
By who?
By he went on with Zizek. He got destroyed.
Dude, you really think he got destroyed?
He got destroyed.
That was the dumbest debate ever.
Because he didn't do his fucking homework. I was like, why are you there?
They both did. He was the only one who was keeping it in line. Zizek was just fucking.
Yeah, but Zizek,
coke nose.
But I know, but that's Zizek is coked out. But he made Jordan look like he also didn't know what he was doing.
But they both. It was a bad debate.
It was a bad debate. But I'm saying
but to say he's destroyed, come on, Juan.
Yeah, he did not.
Stupid.
He's destroyed. He got destroyed in the way that he did not do his homework, and he was literally Googling Marxism. Let me see what this means.
Yeah, but then also my question was why was Jordan Peterson even representing the capitalist side of a debate anyway? It was stupid.
Yeah, because he's not even an economist. He's not none of this.
So use a better example.
Okay.
You're using a dumb example of a debate.
In his forte, he might be. Yeah, I can only credit him in his forte. If I can't talk to him,
he would wreck you in psychology.
He would wreck me in psychology because I have no fucking clue what that.
That's his strength.
If that's his forte. Then by all means.
Yeah. So what do you think you're going to beat him on? What's the debate you're going to beat him in? Tell me, and I'll tell you if you're wrong.
Probably capitalism.
No.
I could probably make better cases.
He would still beat you.
For and against.
No.
Yeah, for sure. Because he would just talk about Jesus or something. He'd be like, with Christianity.
Man, you're such a Peterson hater.
Because his logic is so faulty.
It's not.
Yes,
it is so not.
I just don't trust his logic.
I don't think you listen to any Jordan Peterson except for whatever memes you're listening to. I know you don't because it's so far off base. It's like
I don't
crazy.
know, dude. The stuff that I have seen, I'm like, I'm not impressed. Man. I'm not impressed.
I don't get it.
But
I think you're just drinking the Kool-Aid like the rest of the libs that think he's a fucking neo-Nazi or
I don't think he's a
neo-Nazi or something.
I don't think he's a neo-Nazi.
You're drinking the Kool-Aid, bro, because it's like his arguments are the modern day best arguments there are.
Best arguments?
Yet there are few people that touch him in terms of logic this day and age.
I don't know.
I would put him above Sam Harris for sure, 100%. Okay. And I know you like Sam Harris.
He's okay.
Okay. Well, Peterson is like at least double the power of Sam Harris. I would put him under Weinstein for sure. I'll put him under Taleb for sure. But he's one of the more powerful guys. Above Shapiro, of course.
I mean, Shapiro's not even in the conversation to me.
He is because he's an intellectual, but he's a baby intellectual. He's in this. To me, he's the same level as us.
No,
but he's better. He's actually exceeds
I'm a troll. Like he actually believes his stuff.
But he still has more notoriety than us, and he has better.
But notoriety doesn't mean anything.
It does, but he also
doesn't mean anything.
He's also taken time to form good intellectual arguments. Shapiro has intellect and he has good logic, but he's just a goofy ass motherfucker because he gets caught up in his ideology. And he applies his logic to his ideology in ways that are just laughable.
Well, he's reverse engineering.
But he has good logic. I have to give Shapiro that. I have to say he is an intellectual.
I wouldn't say I don't think he's a deep intellectual because like for us because he's a logician, but like I don't know if he like makes good arguments. Like
he does compared to normal people.
I'm saying like I guess to normal people, but they're very superficial arguments to me. They don't have any depth. And they're kind of derivative.
Yeah. I think I agree, but that's why I say he's our level. He's in the
I don't know. I feel like
30-year-old camp.
I'm saying we've had more original thoughts than him probably ever.
Yeah, but our intellectual insights are not that refined.
No, they're not.
Yeah,
but it's because we spend this
Shapiro
time,
actually does refine some of his intellectual,
which is even
insights.
like more concerning because I know he spends time in his laptop probably thinking, how do I own these people? And like,
but I'm gonna give it to Shapiro. He's above us.
No, he's not above us.
He is, man. He is.
I'm gonna lower him.
No,
I'm lowering him to equal magnitude.
We have no say because we're not even in the conversation, right? No, Shapiro's at least in the conversation.
Yeah, but it's because he's a meme.
He's not, though. People follow him unironically for intellectual insight.
But those are dumb people, Terence.
It's a lot of people, though, man. Dumb people to us. Dumb people to us. But I have watched enough Shapiro to say he is an intellectual. He makes good arguments. But for me, they're just kind of like childish arguments. So I'm like, but to me, he feels like an equal. Like, I feel like I could easily debate him and not feel any kind of, I wouldn't be sweating. If I was debating Weinstein, I'd probably be listening for 90% of the time. If I was debating Peterson, I would probably be listening for at least 70% of the time.
Terrence, I don't. You got to give yourself more credit, bro.
No, man.
I think you can. I think
you're being delusional, man.
I think you can go toe to toe, bro.
Peterson is a very formidable debater for sure.
But only because he uses such flowery language.
No, it's not. It's not.
You don't. He writes so.
He has these meme statements like presupposition and postmodernism.
But his book, looking at like some of the chapters and stuff,
it's so well refined, man. His statements are so well refined a lot of times.
He gets into
his
such
12 rules for
language.
life are very well refined. They're not flowery. Some of the times he gets flowery, but he has very cleaned up language, man. You can tell that the things he's written have been written over and over again, multiple times to trim the fat. He's very good. He's very good.
Yeah, but in debate, he kind of gets lost in like the.
I don't agree at all. I think he only becomes disingenuous when he debates religion and sometimes a few social issues related to like race and things, IQ and whatnot. But he's still a very formidable opponent.
Also, that's why I can't respect him.
I still respect him.
Yeah,
it's a small part of who he is, and it's like I would feel the most comfortable debating Peterson on religion. Then I would think I would have a shot. Anything else, I would be a little bit. I would feel a little bit like I might be. I might get fucked. I might be out out of my depth.
Yeah. All right, fair enough. But yeah, well, yeah, I don't know how we got into this conversation. Just Nassim being
trying to compare ourselves to actual people who are doing things in real life.
Our whole audience
is like, shut the fuck up, you guys suck.
I'm saying we're at the bottom of the totem pole.
Yeah,
I don't care.
But we're trying to act like we're fucking in the conversation.
I don't care. I'm saying even if I don't care about any of this of the relevancy of it.
Yeah.
I'm just saying if we do.
I would love to be in the conversation though.
Oh, you would?
Yeah. For me, that's like a dream of mine to be like
a public intellectual.
Yeah, to be like one of those guys.
I'm just not.
I would love to do that. Like to just debate people all day. That'd be so fun.
I don't know. I'm not. I used to be that way.
Yeah.
Like, I just reached a point where I'm like, I don't have the energy for that. I'm trying to enjoy my life.
Yeah. That seems fun to me though.
Debating?
Yeah.
I can see why.
Yeah, it's just the NTP talking.
When I was in my TI, my like to use MBTI, refining my thoughts, was constantly, into like debating stuff and like seeing both sides, being devil's advocate.
But that's for a practical purpose of refining your own knowledge.
Yeah.
I'm talking about debating for
the sake of debating?
No, for the sake of actually revealing new insights for leading edge topics.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Yeah.
Which is like what whole modern debate's purpose is for.
Yeah.
Like these public intellectual guys are on the leading edge trying to uncover and expose and refine leading edge topics. They're here to basically be a soundboard for what everyone else is trying to figure out.
Yeah, but I think Nassim, a lot of guys do it, they don't do it gracefully. And I think like Nassim's approach, he seems like he's doing it the most proper way at least.
Debating?
Just like, outing bad ideas. Like
he's very good.
He's using rigorous like if I was going to do it anyway, it would probably be that way.
Yeah.
I don't know if I would like debate dubious things like or things that you can have that there's not enough information on. Like it just seems rather pointless.
Like free will debates.
Like it just seems rather pointless, and it's like we don't have enough information yet.
Yeah.
Like
I think I'm with you on that too.
Yeah.
I like Nassim's approach a lot.
Yeah.
But I also like Weinstein's approach too, because Eric just talks about anything, right?
Yeah. True. He's
at a very high level.
Yeah. But he also is not afraid to like code language too, like meaning like he kind of like shorthands a bunch of stuff, which you
Eric
can kind of
does? In what sense?
Like he creates like his own acronyms and shit.
His is so powerful though. He does it the best of anybody I've seen.
Yeah, it's just like I've seen people do that, and it definitely like Like other public intellectuals have done stuff like that, and it's like you can lose the message a little bit. So
he does it the best of anybody I've seen, though. That's why I'm like, okay, I think there's a way to do it. When Eric does it, I'm like, oh, okay. Because he does it all with things that are very leading edge.
But he's also speaking your language, so I don't know.
Maybe that's true. Maybe that's true. But it's so good. I'm like,
I know, but that's why, because you appreciate it. But I don't know. I'm like, me having an outsider's looking in perspective. I'm like, I can see where people can get lost in the abstractions.
It gets hard, especially when if he uses that language in debates outside of circles where people don't know what he's talking about.
Yeah.
But he just has to be
careful.
And he's not.
But no, because I've seen him. I'm basing this off of him appearing on Joe Rogan's podcast. Mm-hmm. How he's not willing to dumb it down for Joe even sometimes.
Well, that is not even the coded language. That's just like the higher, deeper, scientific topics and things.
True.
Like the hop vibration.
Yeah.
Like that crazy spiel. Like
but he's not
nobody
willing.
knows what the fuck he's talking about on that.
But he's also not willing to meet Joe at that level.
Yeah, because his intention, though, we talked about this, though, is because his intention is as a way to, he's basically showing people the portal. Mm-hmm. That's his whole shtick.
I know his whole shtick is like he wants to elevate you to his level, but but I don't know. I don't know if that's the best. You might lose more people than gain. I don't know.
Right. It's just a different tactic.
But it's a different tactic.
I don't agree with it
different approach.
necessarily either. I would have dumbed myself down for the audience, but that's just his tactic, you know?
Yeah, true.
And it's not always his tactic either. It's just for that particular thing, I guess. Because usually Eric's pretty damn good at dumbing shit down.
Yeah, I've seen him do it. I'm like, you can do it. I don't know why.
I think he just chooses it for that particular area for some reason.
Interesting. Well, anyway, we started talking about public intellectuals at the end.
Yeah, that's
but
fine.
It makes sense. Okay. I guess
is there anything else? Fuck we want. This is our goddamn podcast.
Yeah, true. Anyway, what did you have anything else to comment on besides the statistical stuff?
Not really. I guess. I guess it's just. I don't know. What question could we leave?
What kind of models do you like?
What kind of models? I want to ask people about public intellectuals. Mm-hmm. I guess 2 questions. Number 1, who's your favorite public intellectual? And number 2, would you consider me and Juan? That's probably not a good one. Don't
include me in this. I know I'm not. I don't want to be
talk about how you're fucking comparable to Jordan Peterson. Shut your ass up.
I'm just saying I would sit in the room with Jordan Peterson and talk to him and be like, where are you at mentally?
Such a delusional. Such a delusional.
I guess because I see. Yeah, I don't know. I have
delusion is real.
I'm not delusional.
You are. You are. You've been listening to too many podcasts.
No. Guys, all right, comment
this.
Talking
to Kermit the Frog voice.
Comment this. Do you think I could debate Jordan Peterson?
Yeah, I already know the answer.
People saying no.
It's going to hurt your ego.
No upvotes, and then yes upvotes. Like, whoever wins.
Uh-huh. Could Juan stand toe-to-toe with Peterson in a debate? Be
about
gentle.
anything.
Be gentle.
About anything. I'm not. My feelings aren't going to get hurt. I promise. So anything, like we could debate on graham crackers.
Then you might win.
That's what I'm saying. Like him is I'm
talking about real topics.
Yeah, anything. Debate me. No, I'm just kidding. But yeah, that'd be fun. But I guess if you consider, I guess who is your favorite public intellectual? It would be nice.
Well,
to
you
know.
already know for me.
No, yeah, but I'm saying the audience.
Okay,
like, I want to know what they.
Who's my favorite?
Who's your favorite?
Yeah.
Eric, bro.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know that.
Eric.
He's your boy.
Eric, if you're watching this, please be on our show.
Nah, he would never.
He might.
If I were to ever meet Eric, it would be. I would want us to have a show with him one-on-one.
That'd be so awesome.
Yeah.
I'll take anything.
Terrence is going to cream his pants. He said that with such enthusiasm.
That'd be a dream, man. Eric. Eric's a beast.
Hilarious. But I want to know what public intellectuals our audience listens to and what they're into.
Yeah, for sure. I need some more new people too. Some people too.
Obscure.
Hopefully of as quality as like Taleb and Eric.
Yeah.
I don't know if there are any, really.
I don't really know if I have. I have a lot more political ones.
Yeah. But you don't have. I know you don't really do the
science public intellectuals.
Yeah.
I don't.
Yeah.
I do the politics ones, but that's because I was into politics.
I don't like them.
But yeah.
I don't like political takes.
But yeah. But it is what it is. But anyway, please leave a comment. And like, comment, subscribe, share. Follow us on our socials at Eigenbros for everything except TikTok, where we're at Eigenbros too.
And Eigenbros.com for the website. And guys, once again, if you love us as much as
your mom,
as much as your mom, please consider donating $1 to our Patreon. Your boys need to eat out here. Juan's really struggling out here. Get the man some
tuition,
food, please, guys.
My tuition, they're milking me.
But yeah, if you guys, of course, no obligation, but we would greatly appreciate it.
We would. That would be awesome. And thank you, folks, for those Patreon subscribers. And yeah, just thanks for listening.
Thank you, guys.
All right, peace.
Bye-bye.